All right.
I didn't know you liked cats.
We got ourselves a Hellcat.
Oh, man.
So welcome everyone to what is a very, very exciting day, as you can probably tell, because in front of me is the newest car I've ever owned. In fact, for all intents and purposes, this is a new car. This is a 2021 Dodge Charger Hellcat wide body. And it's not just any Dodge Charger Hellcat wide body, it's my Dodge Charger. I'm doing the Doug DeMuro thing, aren't I? Now, I am super excited because I got this amazing automobile for free. For $0, and I'm real happy about it. Now, this is not some automotive journalist thing where I get a press car for a weekend and then cry myself to sleep when I have to give it back. I got this car from Dodge, from the people that make it, because apparently they're fans of my channel and they know that I build things from time to time. So if anyone were to try to buy one of these cars brand new, it would cost the better part of $90,000. Now, I don't care who you are, cars like this don't just get given out. So there is a catch. And the catch is, I have to give it back. Except not really. Now, unlike cars from the dealer, this thing was a pre-production example. Essentially what that means is this was made before the production run for testing purposes. Now, what that means for this car is that it's exempt from things like emissions. But what it also means is that it can't be titled, it can't be registered, and it can't be driven on a public road. Now, this presents a unique issue because Dodge now has cars that they have to get rid of. And honestly, these are really, really cool cars. So that's where I come in. Dodge told me that I could have everything in this car that makes a Hellcat a Hellcat. And in return, all I had to do was one little event. That's right, they invited me, to this year's Motor Trend Presents Roadkill Nights powered by Dodge. Now, if you guys don't know what that is, then please do go check the link in the video description below, because it is one of the most insane events for car culture there is. So you have Woodward Avenue in Pontiac, Michigan, which is a very iconic venue, and they close it off and do street legal drag racing. It's everything a 17-year-old me would have dreamed of doing. So I got this awesome Hellcat, but I also got $10,000 from Motor Trend to modify it in any way I wanted to get it ready for drag racing on Woodward Avenue on August 14th in Pontiac, Michigan. Now, I am going to be drag racing other YouTubers, influencers, social media people, I don't know what you call us, but just to give you guys an idea of who I'm going up against, it's going to be Weston Champlin, Alex Taylor, and the boys from Throttle. And whoever wins that is going to go up against Eric Malone from Fastest Cars of the Dirty South. That's a Motor Trend show you should definitely check out. So that makes me super duper excited because, as you all know, I am very competitive when it comes to racing. But another thing I like to do is involve all of you guys in my decisions because, to be honest with you, I don't know anything about this car. I've never even driven one. I just got this thing delivered, and honestly, I'm a little bit scared. So you guys should let me know what you do with $10,000 to make this into a more track-focused quarter-mile racer. Now, I just got this thing, but you guys can see some sneak previews of what I'm doing with it on my Dodge Garage page. Go check it out in the link in the video description below. Right now, I think we should go on a little bit of a tour of this car because I don't know anything about it, and I really want to learn, and this thing looks awesome, and I'm just gonna geek out. I'm sorry if you guys don't like geeking out. We're gonna do that today. But the first thing I want to show you is how this thing sounds. All right, cold start in a Hellcat. raspy. It's like really I don't think that's supposed to happen. Hold on. Oh, so when I said that this is a pre-production car, I was not joking. There are no tailpipes here. So I think this is our culprit, and why she is a little bit on the raspy side. I think I have something to solve this. So it turns out that I went to a shop right next door that deals with like classics and performance cars, and they had some Hellcat muffler tips. What are the odds of that? All the best cars need a little bit of wrenching just to get them going so they don't melt their own bumpers off, you know? Just makes it more exciting. You know, laying on a cold floor, it's actually kind of nice. I think this is, yep, that gets pushed in a little bit, maybe like that. Okay. I think we're good. Okay, now I think we can start it, really hear what she sounds like. Much better. You know, you usually shouldn't rev an engine cold, but I'm fairly certain that this car has had its fair share of abuse. That was 3,000 RPM. Wow! So on a normal Hellcat, that engine makes 707 horsepower with a 2.4 liter supercharger. But I noticed that this is not the normal Hellcat supercharger. This is actually an engine from a Redeye, which means that this is a 2.7 liter supercharger, and this engine makes 797 horsepower, nearly 800 horsepower, meaning that this car is one of the, if not the fastest four-door cars in the world with a top speed of over 200 miles an hour. This thing is a literal rocket ship. Now, I think you'll agree with me when I say I've been talking too much about this car. It's time to get it out on the road and see how it drives. But there is one thing that may prevent us from finding the limits of grip with 800 horsepower. And that is the fact that it's currently raining. This is gonna be fun. This car came with two keys. One is the regular kind of normal one, and then there's a red one, which is the power key. This one unlocks all the power. So we're just gonna have all the power today. $3,905 miles. Something tells me those miles were not very kind to the car. Now we should actually let this thing warm up a little bit because I don't want to destroy anything on this drivetrain. Now this is, for all intents and purposes, just like the car that you would rent from any airport rental car company, except for the fact that it has more power than a Ferrari, more power than a Lamborghini. Like, this is just insane oodles and oodles of power, and they can give this to you if you have enough money to buy them. Now don't get me wrong, I am very happy that this car exists. 800 horsepower in anything, especially something that has cooled seats and air conditioning and 4 doors and 5 seats. This is probably the best daily driver you can get if you're out for just crazy power. Now you guys probably don't want to see all the features of this car. This does have heated and cooled seats. It has Alcantara wrap steering wheel. It has a sort of leather-ish lined dash with white stitching. It's generally a nice place to be. However, the thing you guys probably want to see is this SRT menu. So you press this SRT button and immediately this goes into full attack mode. You can pick whatever you want to do with this car. This is a more track-oriented car, so you have your auto settings, your custom settings, sport, and track. So if you put it into sport, you can see that the power is in red. Red means the most power you can get, which is 797. The transmission is in sport, meaning that it holds the gears a little bit more. It's still going to be fine driving day to day, but it's just a little bit more sporty. Paddle shifters are on. You have these tiny little paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. Traction control is in sport, suspension is in sport, and steering is in sport. So it tightens all that up from the regular normal mode. Then you go into track and everything just turns red. It essentially turns all the nannies, all the electronic controls off, and lets you get 800 horsepower right to the rear wheels, which is something, especially on a day like today. Okay, now we are warmed up and ready to go. Now I am just going on a private side road, so this isn't going on any highway, nothing like that. And immediately you can tell that there's something special underneath that hood. You hear the slightest, faintest whine just by pressing the throttle like 10%. I'm not gonna floor it in first gear, I'm just gonna roll into it and go. Okay. All right. Did you guys hear that? There's no way we're launching this car right now. This car has 3 15mm wide tires, front and rear, which means that hydroplaning is a real thing. Turn around real quick. All right, let's just try one launch. Just one tiny launch. Activate launch control right there. Okay, press brake and quickly apply full throttle. And go. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right. Yeah, we're not going anywhere fast with any sort of water on the road. So here's what happens if I'm in second and I just stab the throttle. Dodge, you have made a very fast car. Holy moly. So this also has a line lock mode, which is basically a burnout mode. It locks the brakes in the front and it lets the rear just do its thing. So you're holding the car and the rear is just giving you the most massive burnout ever. Now, I can't do it now because, I mean, it's just super wet outside. But I did do it yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, all right. This thing is nuts. So it looks like I'm gonna have to wait for the sun to come out for this to do any sort of performance tests. But I want you guys to let me know what you would do if you had $10,000 and this car and you had to race it on a street. So I don't know what the final form of this car is gonna be, but I do have some really interesting ideas in my head and I'd love you guys to go along for the ride. So until next time, this is me reminding you guys that on cars like this amazing Hellcat, you guys need to build them better, and to do that, you need to wrench every day.